The crystalline spire of Nova Regalis stretched 3 kilometers into the methane-rich atmosphere of Titan, its translucent walls filtering the distant sun into amber bands of light. Inside the Grand Hall, 200 dignitaries from across the Saturn system had gathered for the accession feast, where Queen Lisa would formally accept sovereignty over the outer colonies. Alex stood among the lower-tier scientists, his gray technician's uniform marking him as beneath notice. His fingers trembled as he clutched the data tablet hidden in his jacket. The numbers didn't lie. They couldn't lie, but speaking them aloud would brand him a traitor or a madman. Queen Lisa sat at the elevated dais, her ceremonial robes woven from programmable matter that shifted between deep violet and silver. At 28, she was the youngest sovereign in colonial history, chosen not by birthright but by the consensus algorithm, an AI that had analyzed the psychological profiles, strategic thinking, and ethical frameworks of every eligible candidate in the system. The algorithm had selected Lisa from among 3 billion people. The algorithm was never wrong. The feast had been engineered by the finest molecular gastronomists in human space. Each dish was a masterwork of precision, proteins folded into impossible geometries, flavors that existed in dimensions the tongue could barely comprehend. The centerpiece was the sovereign's portion, a luminescent sphere containing restructured matter from Europa's subsurface ocean, seasoned with compounds found nowhere else in the known universe. It sat before the queen on a levitating plate, rotating slowly, casting dancing shadows across her face. Alex had run the analysis 17 times. Each time, the results were identical. The diplomatic corps from Mars occupied the left wing of the hall, their augmented lungs adapted for low-pressure environments, making them breathe in whistling syncopation. The Belter delegation sat opposite, their elongated frames folded into chairs designed for Earth-normal gravity. At the rear, the AI representatives, holographic projections of consciousness housed in quantum servers orbiting Jupiter, observed with algorithmic curiosity. Protocol demanded silence during the sovereign's first bite. The act symbolized the new monarch accepting responsibility for the sustenance and survival of all her subjects. Every camera in the solar system was focused on this moment. Lisa reached for the sphere. Alex's legs moved before his mind could authorize them. He pushed through the crowd, his shoulder striking a Martian ambassador who hissed in protest. Security drones swiveled toward him, their targeting lasers painting red dots across his chest. "Don't eat that food." The words echoed through the hall's acoustic optimization field, designed to carry the Queen's voice to every corner. Instead, it amplified Alex's desperate shout into a thunderclap that froze every person, drone, and AI in attendance. The hall fell silent. 200 pairs of eyes turned toward him. The security drones charging wine filled the air. They would fire in 1.3 seconds. Lisa's hand hovered centimeters from the sphere, her expression unreadable behind the diplomatic mask she'd perfected over months of preparation. "Explain yourself." Her voice was ice wrapped in silk. "You have until these drones reduce you to constituent atoms." Alex raised his tablet, hands shaking so violently he nearly dropped it. "Your Majesty, I'm Alex Chen, Molecular Dynamics Specialist, 3rd class. I was part of the team that analyzed the Europan samples used in your meal." He took a breath that felt like swallowing glass. "There's a prion analog in the protein structure. Not native to Europa, it was introduced during processing." A murmur rippled through the crowd. Prions were ancient horrors from Earth's past, misfolded proteins that could cascade through neural tissue, turning brain matter into sponge. They'd been eradicated centuries ago. "Impossible," declared Chef Marcellus, the feast's architect, from his position near the kitchens. Every molecule was screened through quantum-level analysis. The meal is perfectly safe. "The screening was compromised," Alex said, his voice gaining strength. "Someone modified the analysis parameters. The prion analog is designed to bypass standard detection. It only becomes active when exposed to the specific neurochemistry of someone chosen by the consensus algorithm. Lisa's eyes narrowed. You're claiming this is an assassination attempt that targets only me. That seems remarkably specific. Not just you, Your Majesty. Anyone the algorithm might have chosen. The contamination isn't in the Europan sample, it's in the quantum state stabilizer used to preserve it. 3 other candidates died in the past month. Cerebral hemorrhages, all attributed to stress. But I found the same protein signature in their medical records. The Chief of Security, Commander Yao, materialized beside the dais, his teleportation implant allowing instantaneous movement within the spire. Your Majesty, we should investigate this claim. He gestured, and a medical scanner drone descended from the ceiling, bathing the luminescent sphere in diagnostic light. The weight was excruciating. Alex could feel the weight of 200 hostile stares. He just accused someone in this room, possibly multiple someones, of conspiracy to commit regicide. The scanner chimed. Commander Yao's face went pale as he read the results on his neural display. He's correct, Your Majesty. The substance contains a synthetic prion variant, inactive in its current state, but the projection models show it would begin cascading approximately 40 minutes after ingestion, triggered by the presence of algorithm-specific neural markers. He turned to Alex. How did you identify this when our systems didn't? Alex swallowed hard. I didn't trust the systems. After the 3rd candidate died, I ran a manual analysis using basic spectroscopy, ancient technology that nobody bothers to hack because nobody uses it anymore. The prion signature showed up immediately. Lisa stood, her robes settling into a deep crimson that matched her expression. Commander Yao, seal the spire. Nobody leaves until we identify who compromised the food supply. She fixed her gaze on Alex. You, come here. Alex approached the dais on legs that felt like water. Up close, he could see the minute calculations happening behind the Queen's eyes, the same analytical brilliance that had made the algorithm choose her. You risked your life to save mine, she said quietly. The drones would have killed you before you finished speaking. You knew that, didn't you? Yes, Your Majesty. Why, you don't know me. For all you knew, I could have been a tyrant in waiting. Alex met her eyes. The algorithm chose you. I have to believe that means something. And he hesitated, then continued, I'm a scientist. I couldn't let someone die from data I'd discovered, regardless of who they were. A ghost of a smile touched Lisa's lips. The algorithm chose well, it seems, in more ways than one. She raised her voice to address the hall. Ladies, gentlemen, and honored AIs, it appears someone wishes to circumvent the consensus. Someone who believes they can choose our leaders better than our most sophisticated intelligence can. Her voice hardened into steel. They're wrong. Commander Yao, begin your investigation. The next 6 hours transformed the Grand Hall into an interrogation complex. The quantum state stabilizer's supply chain was traced back through 17 intermediaries. The trail led, ultimately, to a cabal within the Martian Industrial Consortium, oligarchs who'd lost power when the consensus algorithm replaced electoral politics with meritocratic selection. They'd hoped to destabilize the outer colonies by systematically eliminating algorithm-chosen leaders, forcing humanity back to the old systems of governance by wealth and influence. They'd failed because one third-class scientist had trusted ancient tools over sophisticated systems and had valued truth over survival. As dawn broke over Titan, a pale orange suggestion of light through the thick atmosphere, Lisa found Alex in the observation deck, watching Saturn's rings arc across the sky. I'm promoting you to Chief Scientific Advisor, she said without preamble. You'll hate it. It's mostly meetings and politics. Alex laughed tiredly. Your Majesty, I'm honored, but I'm terrible at politics. Good, the last thing I need is another politician. She stood beside him, and for a moment they were just two people watching the stars. The algorithm chose me to lead, Alex, but it didn't tell me how to trust people. You showed me that tonight. Trust isn't about sophisticated analysis or probability matrices. Sometimes it's just about someone who'll risk everything to tell the truth. Alex nodded slowly. And sometimes leadership is about someone who'll listen when the truth is shouted at the worst possible moment. Lisa smiled, a real smile this time, not the diplomatic mask. We're going to rebuild this system into something better, something where ancient wisdom and new technology work together instead of competing. Will you help me? Yes, Your Majesty. Then stop calling me Your Majesty when we're alone. Call me Lisa. Below them, the crystalline spire came alive with morning activity. A new age was beginning for the outer colonies, one built not on the infallibility of algorithms or the supremacy of human intuition, but on the partnership between them. And it had started because one man stepped forward and told the queen, "Don't eat that food." The hall had fallen silent then, but in the silence that followed, a better future found its voice.